years that have been perpetrated by the Muslims. And, oh, by the way, it's amazing how all of these people, they bang around on the past, but when you bring up the current, then they go, well, what are you doing complaining about? What's the problem? You're always itching and moaning, and and just crying in your spilled milk or whatever. Not my spilled milk. It's the spilling of our freedoms and the destruction of our economy, and our rights are being trashed. Our God-given rights are just being trashed, all for the name of Allah or Obama or just progressivism. All of these evil things to replace Christianity. I don't know if you saw the video. Just talk about how people know. See, this is why I know that people know, and they don't give a rip. Mm-hmm. I'm sure you heard or saw the video about a gentleman walked into Dirbonistan, into a bakery, and he asked them to, hey, we want you to bake a cake for a homosexual wedding. Mm-hmm. And the guy says, no, go to Kroger, go cross the street, go to the other guy.
Right.
And nothing, not a whimper. So you know, John, that these people know. It's not that they don't know and that they're ignorant, and that is what's even more grating and more sad about the situation. And see, I thought it was just, Detroit, the certain segments of the population, but that mental disorder has spread far beyond the black community, where there's this fog that has come over their brains, and they don't care if the grand imam in the White House, whatever he does, it's okay. You don't need to talk about it. We've heard it before. Blah 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 blah. And you need to just shut up and go on and just live. Well, we're trying to, as you said, we're trying to make sure that we can continue to live and have something to do and have something to do it with, because these yahoos, if they're willing to lie on behalf of an enemy that has already vowed to destroy not only Israel, but the United States, if they're willing to lie on behalf of those folks, what makes you think that they're going to truthfully protect America from anything? We are without God, man. We are in a heap of hurt, and it's we really have to start grabbing the bull by the horns and taking the fight to wherever it has to go, because I still hold out hope. Don't get me wrong, but I don't hold out hope by just sitting on my backside and just saying that we should just sit back and just pray and let our backside spread in our chairs. Mm-hmm. We have to be active. There's hope. God wants us to be active and knowledgeable and able to combat this stuff. It's about a war, and it's a winnable war if we will just get up and do something about it. And when you have a population, I could just sit here and read all these lies that I'm looking at here on the computer. Just with the Iranian agreement alone, that should be enough to have 10 million people converge on Washington, D.C. over the weekend.
Well, one of the things that historically happens in this country when it comes to foreign policy is that, people listen about it and they listen to it, but we as Americans have always kind of distanced ourselves from the reality of what is going on in any particular theater that's happening. When we think back about Vietnam, for instance, we can go back as far as World War I. Nobody in this country wanted a war. World War II, nobody wanted a war. It wasn't until we were attacked that we actually jumped into it. Vietnam, we were over there as advisors. We ended up getting into a war. My point being, until we actually are confronted by something that people can grab a hold of and then be able to personalize what's going on. 9/11 did it. We had 9/11. We had the New York was hit. And, man, for about 90 days, this country was, let's burn everything in our path and get these guys. And it didn't take very long for that to fade out. And then right after, then the other side begins to, with the weapons of mass destruction fiasco. Did they have were we justified to go in there, blah, blah, blah. And it turns into this political theater, and we forget about the actual consequences of what's going on. I'm kind of figuring, in my mind, that nothing is going to really wake America up until we have another 9/11. I think it's going to take something like that for people to all of a sudden go, hey, wait a minute, this is in our backyard. Because until it is, I think a majority of Americans are just like, what goes on over there is no big deal. As long as I get my paycheck and my 6-pack of Corona on Friday, I'm cool. That kind of thing. And I think that's what it's going to actually take. What do you think?
Well, you may be a witness to something like that happening. Just keep your eyes on the city of Chicago and in the next year or so.
Well, we're used to what's going on in Chicago. We all know that's the death capital of the world. Nobody seems to care.
Oh, no. I mean, what I mean is that something a little more dramatic than the political crap that's going on there now. I think that something that will awaken America up based upon what you're saying, I believe that's the next place that has availed itself to such an occurrence. That's what I'm saying.
Well, let's just hope it's Rahm Emanuel's living quarters.
Well, you know what? You may not believe this. He's not the worst of it. Did you hear that those that are left of him want to throw him out of office? And guess the reason why they want to throw him out of office? For once, finally, Rahm Emanuel said something that even I agreed with. He had the unmitigated gall to stand up and say, wait a minute, we've gone too far. We have to truly start educating these children because our nation is in danger because of how they're not learning anything, and we are putting our city and our country in danger. Do you know that the unions, those left of him, are coming after him like sharks, and the people we love to hold up, as if they're hallowed individuals, the teachers union, they're going after him with fangs gaping to throw him out because he dared to say something that needs to be done right concerning the inner city children, and yet these racist liberal unions.
Well, all he would have had to do is qualify the remark by saying the answer is Common Core. Then everybody would have been back on his side,
No, but he didn't do that. He said they need to be truly educated, and that means, the educators are going to have to start doing their jobs.
Okay.
That means that the administrators are going to have to make sure that the educators are doing their job. They're going to have to stop wasting as much money, and they're going to have to concentrate on what they're there for, and that's why they went to Nutsville after Rahm Emanuel.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
That's pretty bad.
We'll kind of see the outcome of that tonight. I believe their election's going on right now, isn't it?
Oh man,
I was just during the break here looking.
I haven't paid it.
Yeah, today is election day in Chicago. They're in the runoff. He's actually in a runoff right now. And actually, I guess the polls are supposed to close later tonight. We'll kind of get an idea what's going on here. If I can, I hated to interrupt you there, but I want to get on topic here. What we're talking about tonight, and that is the deal of a century here with Barack Obama and Iran. And what we did before the break was we highlighted the three major things that Barack Obama is telling the American public. This Iranian deal. Which we have qualified and quantified to mean this. This is an agreement to reach an agreement that we need an agreement. This isn't something that's been written in stone. The agreement itself has not come to, it's not on paper. Nobody has signed anything. There's really no obligations on either side of this. But we're being kind of sold this package that because they've agreed to agree that there needs to be an agreement, that all of a sudden, right over there on the horizon, peace is going to come to the Middle East. And our president stood out in the Rose Garden last Saturday, I believe it was, and said the following. He said that this agreement means that Iran will not be able to pursue the use of plutonium because they're going to be disassembling their plant at Arak. It's going to shut down their ability, reduce the number of centrifuges for enrichment of uranium at the Fordow facility, and that, of course, the international inspectors are going to keep an eye on them and make this whole thing transparent. So if Iran decides to do something under the table, of course, we'll catch them doing it because, after all, they've done such a good job so far being able to keep track of what's going on. So those are the three major things that Barack Obama has been telling us that has been accomplished in this agreement to agree. That's really what it is. It's an agreement to agree that we need an agreement. And now they're supposed to be working out the details. Now, the other side of this thing, and this is what I want to get your take on, the Iranian foreign minister, the guy that was at the negotiating table, came out the day before Obama hit the Rose Garden and told the American people that Obama was lying to us. So the guy that was sitting at the negotiation table and agreed that we needed to agree on an agreement comes down and says, your president is lying to you about what this agreement is about. So right there, just that by itself should have alerted everybody to the fact that nothing really has been accomplished. The only thing that has been accomplished, and the only thing that has probably been at the forefront of any of these talks forever, is that we agree there needs to be an agreement. That's really what this comes down to. Now, here's the information that we get from the Iranian foreign minister. This is what Iran is telling their country, the people in their country, is that the plant in Iraq, which is supposed to be disassembled and incapable of doing plutonium enrichment, he says the plant remains. He says that the plant in Fordow, the one that they were just talking about, the centrifuges all being reduced so they can't enrich uranium. He says everything is going to stay the same there. And not only that, as soon as we agree to sign the agreement that we agree needs to be agreed upon, all the sanctions will be lifted immediately. And Obama's telling us, no, the sanctions will not be lifted immediately. So what we have here is two sides of this agreement that everybody agrees need to be agreed upon, and they're saying exact opposite of each other. That in and of itself should tell us something ain't right here. What do you think?
Well, I happen to believe the imam people.
Yeah, isn't that something that you would actually believe the enemy over our president?
Yeah, and well, and of course you have Lurch as your negotiator. I mean, come on. You remember Lurch from the Addams Family?
Yeah, well,
and John Kerry. John Kerry, they look a lot alike. If you go look at Lurch and then you look at John Kerry, and that's why I call John Kerry Lurch. But I trust Lurch more, and I trust the Iranians more than I do the White House occupier and John Kerry and anyone in that cabinet or whatever. And here's the thing: you have the American people should care enough to understand. First of all, those Iranian leaders have already called the White House occupier a dog. They burned him in effigy over there in Iran, even though he's kissing their backsides. And they have totally disrespected him. They've disrespected him more than they did George W. Bush, who posed a mild threat to them.
Well, because the disrespect is out of different reasons. Disrespect out of George Bush was out of fear. Disrespect for Obama.
Right. Yeah, and see, they look at him as a dog. He's half black. They don't respect a black person or even a half black person. Mm-hmm. And they looked at George W. Yeah, he's an enemy, but he's a man. And we hate George W., but he's a man, and so there's a grudging respect for that enemy. Whereas Obama is, like I said, as I've read, he's nothing but a dog to them. And he hates America so much that he is willing to take this disrespect from his fellow Muslims who hate him and consider him nothing more than a dog and burn him in effigy.
Yeah.
And like I said, I was reading this so-called agreement. Now, one of the things that I've learned is that as it stands now, It's not 10 years.